Hey there again, gamers. This is Justin Simson from ProjectSui.com. Today I'm bringing you my review for MadWorld on the Nintendo Wii. Now before we begin, I would just like to point out that some of the video clips within this review contain scenes of violence, so if you're too young or upset by it, you have been warned. MadWorld is a special game, being one of the first to come out of Platinum Games, which consists of remnants of Clover Studios, the makers of some of our beloved titles such as Beautiful Joe, God Hand, and Okami. Even though the Wii has an aura of family friendliness surrounding it, it hasn't prevented Platinum from making one of the most violent games for it. The plot of the game bears some similarity to the cheesy Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Running Man. Terrorists have taken over a part of the once peaceful Varigan city, closed it off, and set up their own little game show called Death Watch, in which contestants must fight to survive. Though this sounds pretty crazy, let's hold on to that suspension of disbelief for a bit. What do you suppose the government and law enforcement would do to stop something like this from happening? Why not send in a lone man with a chainsaw on his arm to wipe everyone out? It's the only obvious solution. Anyways, this is where our hero Jack comes in. He is the ultimate tough guy, ex-military, with, as I mentioned, a chainsaw built into his gas-powered prosthetic arm. It's up to Jack to take down the bad guys and free the city from the grip of these terrorists. The game plays similarly to No More Heroes, for those gamers who are familiar with that title. There's tons of beat-em-up action and just the right amount of remote waggle. Button presses can dish out Jack's basic punching attacks, but hold down the B button and you can ready the chainsaw. Eviscerating enemies has never been easier with a simple swing of the Wii remote. However, the real beauty of the game comes from when you execute brutal finishers. Many things in the environment are intended for the specific purpose of dispatching your foes in the most gruesome way possible. In fact, you're ranked on it. You earn more points the more creative you are. For example, you can jam a tire over opponent to disable him, jam a street sign through his skull, toss him into a flaming oil drum, and finish him off by impaling him on a spiked wall. Finding the most insane ways to do a guy in is a good deal of the fun in the game. And if that deadly creativity wasn't enough, the game routinely throws in bloodbath challenges, which are mini-games that are set up for even more blood spilling. Take man darts, for example. It's just like the name sounds. You're given a giant dartboard and a bat, and you must send enemies flying into the board to score points the same way you would in a real dart game, except, with a lot more death. There are also a few points in the game in which you'll play as Jack riding his motorcycle to the next challenge. The problem is that these sections tend to be a little dull, and feel tacked on as a result. However, they are fairly far between. The game is brutal and entertaining. The combat is satisfying, with some interesting boss fights, but can sometimes be a bit repetitive. The look of the game is probably one of the first things that gets everyone's attention. Black and white cel shading bring back visions of Sin City, but players are almost constantly drenched in a shower of red blood on screen. The stylization helps the game get away with such extreme violence without being too graphic. Overall, the game looks great, and the style works extremely well. Some textures look a bit muddy up close, and you'll be able to see polygons, but this will probably only bother those who have been spoiled rotten by next-gen graphics. Sound is also quite visceral, with a pulsing hip-hop soundtrack that gets the job done, and plenty of chainsawing, blood splashing, and screams to play into the action. The real treat, however, comes from the running commentary provided by none other than John DiMaggio, known for his work as Bender on Futurama, and also as Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War, along with Greg Proops from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Their banter is absolutely hilarious, with plenty of inappropriate jokes and copious amounts of cursing. You're sure to get a laugh. As much fun as they are to listen to, though, you'll hear some jokes repeat a little too often, which can get old. Really, though, MadWorld is a must-have game for the Wii. It's slick, it's fun, and it plays great. Be warned, it's a bit on the short side with roughly 5 to 6 hour single-player mode, but certain gamers will love to go back and try to top their all-time high scores. Some of the bloodbath games can also be played in multiplayer with up to 2 players, which is a nice added feature. Though what it really comes down to is that this is a hardcore game for the Wii, and every serious gamer out there should do themselves a favor and pick this one up. Let's hope Platinum Games keeps up the good work. I gave MadWorld a final score of 8.6 out of 10. Be sure to stay tuned for Project Seaway for more video reviews. Once again, this is Justin Simpson, and thanks for listening.